What up, what up, what up, what up? Welcome to the Ball Dnt Lie podcast. This is your boy Dexter, your host, the one and only. Welcome to the show. And for all the new listeners out there, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Ball Dnt Lie. That's spelled BALLDNTLIE. And soon we'll be on all major platforms: Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever, all streaming platforms. So I'll be dropping the links pretty soon. As of right now, I'm going to be on YouTube. I'm going to be on IGTV. I'm going to be on some other platforms that will release. I don't have the name right now, but I'll get to it. And for all the ones that have been supporting me, I can't praise y'all enough. I appreciate it. I really do. From the bottom of my heart, I love the support. And it's going to be a crazy NBA Finals. Let's just get right into it. Before we actually get into the NBA Finals, we got some breaking news. Doc Rivers will sign with the Philadelphia 76ers. That's crazy because they were actually looking at Mike D'Antoni, who left the Rockets, to go sign with, or he was planning to sign with the Sixers. And there was rumors coming out that he can orchestrate somehow a way to get James Harden to come there, because James Harden has 2 million years on his deal. I didn't believe that rumor. I was like, what? Why would he leave Houston to go follow? I know Mike D'Antoni changed the perspectives, or the perspective of how James Harden plays. I mean, before that, James Harden was a solid player, an all-star player, but D'Antoni just magnified it, basically, and made him to a unguardable player in this league. But Doc Rivers, going back to him, I'm not getting to all the hoopla about what happened in LA. I mean, there's been rumors about, Doc not getting the respect from his team. Don't know exactly who that may be. There's some correlations about Paul George and Doc not really working well together. We know the whole history about Paul George and Callie Rivers, Doc's daughter, who Paul George cheated on while he was in Indiana. And I mean, it's just weird, that he actually played for Doc, knowing that Doc knows that this guy knocked up a stripper, right? Or an escort, however you want to call it. But enough of that. We're going to speak about this NBA Finals. And to me, it was mind-boggling how they just clearly just destroyed the Heat as far as like the Lakers. I mean, like if you just watch the highlights over again, it was not even fair from the jump. They don't have anybody that can actually guard a LeBron James or an Anthony Davis. I mean, they played 3 times this season. If you count this season from last year to now, they played 3 games so far, and all 3 games the Lakers just figured out a way to dominate these guys. And the stats just says it. I mean, just from the opening gate, Lakers were down by 14 points. And you still were not confident. Like, Miami was not confident. Oh, yeah, we're up by 14. We're good. Lakers came back out of a timeout. KCP hit a couple threes. Danny Green hit a three-pointer. Kyle Kuzma hits a tight three-pointer in the corner, leaning or fading to his left. Once they went up, I mean, it's just mind-boggling the run the Lakers actually went on. I believe it was like a 25-3 run to close out the first quarter. That's insane. And on top of that, oh my goodness. Let me pull up the stats for you guys here. Lakers had a 75-30 run from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, or I believe it was the third quarter-ish, or around there. That's a 45-point differential. You can't win like that. I'm sorry, you can't win like that. At the same time, how can you guard D-Wade? I'm sorry, how can you guard AD? I'll tell you how you can guard AD. You put Bam, who is arguably around 6'9"-ish. So he's about the same height as LeBron. So he's undersized compared to Dwight Howard and Anthony Davis. You're undersized. And I know all year long with Coach Spo, he had Bam at the 5. Obviously, in the beginning of the year, they had Miles Leonard starting for a little bit. Then they went small ball. I think at the point where they realized when they got Jay Crowder in the trade from Memphis, they say, you know what, we play better small. We're going to go Jay Crowder at the 4. We're going to put Bam at the 5. Duncan we're going to slip him in the 3, then put Jimmy at the 2. And then obviously Kendrick Nunn started majority of this year before the bubble. And then they swapped him out for Goran Dragic. So your team is small. And then you play against these other teams, Milwaukee, and they had the advantage to it. The Celtics, they had the advantage to it. Obviously, against the Pacers, they had the advantage to it. But against these Lakers, you run into Twin Towers. Bam Adebayo cannot post up. No post-up game whatsoever. He's a pick and roll, pick and pop, crash the boards, alley-oop kind of player. Like, he is like a smaller version of a DeAndre Jordan type. He can't post up. So how's this benefit the Lakers? They're going to keep you shooting from the perimeter. And if you're Miami, that's what you live on. That's what you're predicated on. If you're not getting these fast break points, if you're not getting these, offensive rebounds, second chance points, then you have to figure out a way to how to go inside or shoot outside, right? So Duncan Robinson and Hero, those are you guys that you need help from. And I just touched upon a little bit about AD and Bam's situation. AD is just going to dominate. I mean, if I kind of look at even back in, was it November of last year? Let's pull it up quick. This is November 8th, 2019. So it's well in, a couple weeks into the season. The score was 95-80 Lakers. Bam Adebayo played 38 minutes, had 9 points, and 11 boards. Okay, that's okay. It's not bad. Because I expect that from Bam. I expect Bam to give you somewhere around, 10 to 15 to 20 points-ish. If he goes over that, you're winning. If he gives you 20 plus, it's a cherry on the top. Right? 11 boards against the Lakers at that time. You have to understand, he wasn't the center that started. It was Miles Leonard who started. So it kind of it releases the pressure off of him in a way where he's not competing against the bigs. At that time, too, I'm pretty sure McGee was the starting center for the Lakers. It wasn't Dwight Howard. And let me tell you how they struggled in that game. Imagine, they dropped only 80 points. And obviously, you have a young team, right? You have you have Duncan Robinson, who's young. You have Tyler Hero, who's your point guard. Your shooting guard, a rookie out of Kentucky. Jimmy Butler had 22 points, 38 minutes. And remember, this is November 9th of 2019. So I'm kind of spit back a little bit of what happened from last year and kind of move forward to present time. Kendrick Nunn, 23 minutes. He was a starting point guard, 10 points. Goran Dragic had 34 minutes off the bench, 19 points. I'm going to tell you the key players where, these key cogs that you need points from. Duncan Robinson played 24 minutes and only had 3 points. And Tyler Hero had 7. Okay, so that's the first game of the year. It's whatever, right? Obviously, at that point, they're not fast forwarding and see what we're going to play against each other, right? Let's go to game 2 of the season. And this is December 13th, 2019. And I'm not going to get into as far as the Lakers, because I'm pretty sure they both over 20 points easily. As far as AD, as far as LeBron James. Yeah, so they both had 25. LeBron had 25 in game 1 of last year. Anthony Davis had 26. I expect those from those guys because they're going to dominate these guys physically. So going back on the December 9th situation of last year, Jimmy Butler had 23 points. Bam had 12 rebounds and 12 points, played 35. Jimmy played 37 minutes. Kendrick Nunn, 16 points, played 36 minutes. Duncan Robinson played 36 minutes, had 9 points. And the sleeper in this game was Kelly Olynyk, 15 points with 21 minutes. Derrick Jones Jr., airplane mode, has 17 points in 28 minutes. And if you want to speak about the Lakers, let's hop into the Lakers quick and let's see what happened, what they did. And like I said, they dominated. Anthony Davis had 33 points in 38 minutes, had 10 rebounds. LeBron James had 28 points in 37 minutes, had almost a damn near triple-double, 12 assists, 12 assists and 9 rebounds. And guess who's their second or the third scorer on that time was KCP, who is killing in the playoffs. And was somewhat of he contributed. He was an impact player in the second quarter of game 1 in the finals. And if you look at what happened yesterday, the totality of the game was lopsided. Jimmy Butler had 23 points on a bad ankle. Obviously, he injured his ankle in that game. Jay Crowder was your third or fourth leading scorer. He had 12 points. Tyler Hero played 30 minutes, 14 points. Kendrick Nunn, out of nowhere, at the gate. Dragic gets hurt. Foot injury. They're bringing Kendrick Nunn. 15 minutes. He had 18 points. And this one was challenging for them. The Miami Heat is just too small. I hate to say it. They're just too small. And then for me, what I want Coach Sproul to do is to bring in bigs to counter what Frank Vogel is doing. He's going to go big. He ain't going to go small. They want to end this in 4 games. I'm thinking the Heat had a chance to get 2 games out of this. Now with injuries, with Bam being doubtful for game 2 and Dragic being doubtful for game 2, and his situation with Dragic is more severe than Bam. I don't think Dragic should play at all. But hey, they put those needles in you and numb it, see what you can do. But I seen Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, go through the same foot injury in a game 7 in the playoffs. I think while he was in Atlanta, I believe. Dude shot terrible, lost the series. But going back to that, so the Heat, they're just too small. You have to put, I believe, either Silva, and people are like, who the hell's Silva? Silva's a big body he's 6'10", 6'11" center. Very inexperienced, but I seen him play this year, in the beginning of the year, and he did okay. If not, then go to Miles Leonard. If not, go to Kelly Olynyk. You have to put Bam at the 4. You have to respectfully let Bam guard Anthony Davis. You can't put Andre Iguodala. You can't put Jay Crowder. You can't put Solomon Hill. You can't put Jimmy Butler. Like, you can't put Duncan Robinson. This is these players that actually played on AD in the paint. Second, I think AD had 7 baskets within 3 feet, within the restriction area. 7 baskets. And every single one of them were on different players. Mismatches like crazy. So they got to figure that out before game 2 starts. I know Coach Sproul is a smart guy. He's not going to put all his eggs in a basket in a blowout game 1. You have to understand, the Lakers are up by 25 points, 30 points Why would he adjust during that game knowing that the game's gone? He's down 2 bodies, perhaps 3 with Jimmy Butler at the time. And this is exactly what Coach Popovich does. He said, okay, this is a gut punch. You got by 20. I'm not going to adjust. We're just going to scrap away, see what we can get out of this game 1, and move forward. I don't think the Heat are rattled, if you ask me. That's Heat culture over there. Underdogs, never appreciated, always looked down upon. And this is post LeBron James from the Miami Heat. So, in order for things to change, I believe the bigs would have to be a factor. As far as Miles Leonard, Kelly Olynyk, or Silva, you have to bring those guys in. If you don't, then you got to shoot like crazy from the outside. You got to shoot more 3-pointers than you would that you have shot in the previous rounds. I believe that this is a Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, or bust situation. If those guys don't go off, you're losing the series. And Duncan Robinson, I don't care. If you're a Heat fan, don't ever try to compare Duncan Robinson to a Klay Thompson situation. How you gonna play 27 minutes in the NBA Finals and you only got 3 shot attempts, and you ended with a nugget, 0 points, and you was a starter? Unacceptable. I don't care who you are. You're not playing 30 minutes to give you 0 points. You have to figure out a way to score. You are a professional NBA player. It's inexcusable just to stand in the perimeter all day. I get it if you was a Danny Green, if you was an Asian vet. I get it if you're not called upon. That's not your role. But in this Miami team, anybody, Duncan Robinson has the ultimate green light. If you're on the court, and this is from Coach Paul, I'm gonna paraphrase it. If you're on the court, you shoot, you catch and shoot, you let her rip. 3 attempts. I tip my hat more to the Lakers. They figured, hey, these 2 guys are not going to beat us. But still, like I said, it's inexcusable from Duncan. You got to figure out ways to, run through multiple screens, have flare screens for you set up. Coach Spo had to do that as well. I'm blaming part of this on Coach Spo, but most of it is on Duncan Robinson. And like I said about Kendrick Nunn, he played hell of a good game, but he came in when they're down by 20-ish, 30 points. Comes in 8 for 11, 15-minute window, 18 points. Obviously, he's going to be starting game 2 because even with Goran Dragic's injured foot, he's not starting. And I don't know what you can get out of Goran Dragic at this point. He's hurt. So I will go with Kendrick Nunn. And the Lakers, I just went on like a 15-minute, 20-minute rant about the Miami Heat and what they need to do. Lakers, this is probably one of the most easiest NBA finals that I have seen in a while. You can't tell me you're up by 30, 40 points in game 1. And the way you're beating them is by going on some ridiculous historical runs. 75 to 30 run. Oh my God. It's like playing a JV team out there. I expect the Heat to bounce back and be more competitive game 2. And I'm assuming that would happen because they would need to win game 2 more than they need to focus on game 3. LeBron is great in game 3 situations. Obviously not in the finals as much as the playoffs. But if you count all his games in the playoffs and the finals and you combine them together, he's a very great player when it comes to game 3 as far as closing those games out. So Miami, if you need to win, you got to get this game 2 situation in the bag. And all these Laker fans, I get it. You play who's in front of you. Laker fans are telling me it don't matter who it is. If it's the Milwaukee Bucks, they never showed up. The Clippers, they never showed up. You play who's in front of you, and I don't knock that. But this has to be by far the easiest path for LeBron James' career as far as going to an NBA Finals and not seeing a premier superstar that he's playing against. Let's just go back in LeBron's time. When he first went to NBA Finals in 2007 with Cleveland against the Spurs, where he got swept, he played against obviously Hall of Famers. He had a Tim Duncan and a Coach Pop that he's playing against, and obviously a young Tony Parker. He had Ginobili, etc. Right? Won. So as far as the Spurs won, he lost. Then he goes to Miami, plays against a Hall of Famer Dirk Nowitzki. Then he goes against OKC the following year. James Harden, Russ, KD, all of them are MVPs. All three of them are arguably the top 10, top 15 players in the league. And OKC also had Ibaka, who's a good complementary player. Then guess what happens? Then they play the Spurs back to back. Once again, you got Tim Duncan, Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, Ginobili, Tony Parker, Boris Diaw. I can go on. It was a really good team. Then he goes back to Cleveland, and then obviously we know the whole situation with the Warriors. Played Steph, Harrison Barnes, Clay, Draymond Green, and obviously the whole KD situation came into effect. And he plays who? Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Come on, man. When you have Anthony Davis, playoff Rondo, championship, Danny Green. You got Dwight Howard who's dying to get this ring. JaVale McGee, who just got 2 rings from the Warriors. Come on now. So I expect LeBron to win this title and to win his 4th championship. And it's going to be a cakewalk. And like I said, you can't knock LeBron for this. He deserves this title. I'm a LeBron fan. I just don't like the Lakers. I root for the Warriors, group in the Bay Area. The ones that do know me know why I root for who I root for and know why I hate the Lakers. That's a whole different topic. I'm not going to get into that. So if LeBron does win, I tip my hat off. He deserves it. Like right now, the Lakers, if they're playing to win this in a 4-game fashion or a gentleman's sweep, a 4-1 situation, right now it's up to who's going to win the MVP. I mean, I'm watching this NBA Finals like, who's going to get the MVP? Is it going to be LeBron James? Or is it going to be Anthony Davis? And to me, it looks like it's AD has the edge in game 1. I think LeBron's going to do everything in his power to get this. If you want to be in the greats, if you want to have discussions about is he the best player of all time, you got to win the MVP. That has to be. And even though AD is a great player, I'm not knocking that. I think AD is in a better stage, in a better situation as being the better player in the team. But who's the most valuable player is LeBron James. He got to win the MVP. So that's the only suspense I'm going to get in this finals is who's going to be the MVP. So game 2 is tomorrow, 6 o'clock. To all my, Miami supporters out there, I know the ones that do like the Heat, that do support the Heat, and the ones that are against the Lakers, obviously, which is me. I'll be rooting for the Miami Heat. Hopefully, game 2 will make a difference. Like I said, Coach Spo, you gotta go with your bigs, you gotta shoot more, get Duncan some more touches. Obviously, Tyler Hero played okay. He's gonna probably play a little bit better. You're gonna have Kendrick Nunn, and then you go from there. All right, so that's it for the show for today. I'm glad for y'all, for y'all listening. Like I said, so I can't thank y'all enough for the support. I'm gonna keep praising y'all for the next few episodes because y'all motivate me to get to this point where I'm at now. So I appreciate everything about it. Until then, tap into the show. You can catch me on Ball Dnt Lie. Like I said, BALLDNT. The links will be on the bottom of the video, wherever that may be, up, down, on the bottom. If it's on the podcast, like I said, BALLDNTLIE, Ball Dnt Lie, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram. Until then, deuces. Y'all have a good evening. Be safe out there, man. Peace. One love.